Hello and welcome to another episode of Supercoach Insider. My name is Chris and welcome to my team going into round 13. Is it the second week of the buys this week? It is, isn't it? Yes. Sorry I missed you guys last week. Obviously, as Ben would have noted on the podcast last week, I was definitely ill and to the point where I had to have a COVID test on the Monday, and I was just absolutely out of it. So voice was not in a good mood. And so back into it. I had a couple. I'll probably go through the last couple of weeks for you guys, so you guys know exactly where I'm going and what I'm doing and how I've been actually traveling. I've had a pretty poor couple of weeks. Actually, I had about a poor month, to be completely honest. But I'm in a good position moving forward. So my buys are actually not really as affected as others. And I will go through exactly what I did last week. So. Going into the buy, I had, I think, 17 players confirmed playing, and I had obviously trades and options to make trades to make another player on field. I actually had the week before I traded in. What are we doing? I did the double down, obviously, as I said, and that went okay. But Madden, obviously, not being named last week did hurt a little bit. I was hoping that he would get a gig. I held off on my trades to the Collingwood game. The only one that I did make was I had to make a trade on the Friday night to bring in. Who did I bring in? I can't even remember. Wow, that's how good my memory is over the span of 2 weeks. Jack Steele. I had to bring in Jack Steele from Flynn, and that's who I brought in. So in order to get that to happen and to move Fullerton into my ruck line, I had to actually into a forward line at the time. I had to do some manoeuvring there, so therefore I had to actually do that on the Friday night because that was the Friday night game. I brought in Steele, and that was looking good. And then I waited until the Collingwood game to pull the trigger. I was going to bring in Bianco. And at the last 11th hour, I decided instead to trade Grundy. And the reason is we obviously got quite a lot of news that the likely scenario is that they're going to be moving the Richmond and West Coast game forward a week, which obviously would impact. And we also got word that how the Supercoach was going to handle that was to give us extra trades. So I figured straight away, stuff it. If we're going to get 2 extra trades, I'm just going to trade Grundy out and then trade him back in. And then I was able to get the next 2 weeks scoring from Riley O'Brien. Now, the reason why I went Rob over someone like, say, Nick Nat is cash, really, at the end of the day. Rob was priced at 170K under, so it was a cash grab. And he already had a very low break-even of 10. And with Brodie Grundy out, his matchup was going to be a second gamer in Max Lynch. So there was every chance he was just going to have an absolute huge score and reset his break-even again, which is exactly what he did. And he's looking like he'll probably make another 40K this week, meaning in the 2 weeks that I'll have him, I'll make 80K. I'll probably keep him even at one more week, which is the week after the bye. That way, Grundy will probably drop another 30K, and I might get another, say, 20K out of Riley O'Brien, taking his grand total that I'll probably make out of those 2 trades for free for no reason at all to 130K. And probably about 200 points. Not bad. I can't really say that I'm going to complain about that. Now, obviously, Nick Nat was an option, and I looked at that as an option. The only difference was Nick Nat was only, I think, 30 or 40K cheaper. You're not really getting any gain out of that outside of the points. So I figured the better play was to go to Rob. So that's what I did. And I am committed to bringing Grundy back in the week after the bye. 2 weeks after the bye at the latest, or potentially the week of, depending on my cash situation. So we'll have a look at that. Now, obviously, also in that game, because I did that trade to Grundy, I decided not to go early on Bianco just as a safeguard, just in case he was dropped or he got injured or whatever it may be, and he didn't play his third game. Then I would have been up shit creek. So I decided not to bring him in. Unfortunately, that did backfire. So even though Highmore as well was named as the emergency and then came on with 3 quarters to go, it still meant that I had some really bad rookie stores in RCD and Nathan Murphy on my field this week, which really did impact me. So what would have been really nice is if I did actually bring in Bianco, I would have gained, I think Bianco scored 75 or similar. I would have gained 50 points. So straight up, I lost 50 points by not bringing Bianco, and that really hurts. The other one I held off on was not Riley Dawkins, CCJ, Callum Coleman-Jones. I held off on him for the exact same reason, wanted to make sure he was going to get a third game. I will definitely have to bring those guys in this week. They are just screaming to be picked, and that is obviously what's going to happen. Again, if I had brought those two guys in like I could have, because I did have the trades, it wasn't a trade issue. It was just I wanted to give them another week and get them on their bubble. And it did backfire. So there's another 50 points, 40 to 50 points that I missed out on. So yeah, I ended up scoring, going back to my score, I ended up scoring 1944, which wasn't terrible. It's still pretty good, but it is just about par. And unfortunately, that also meant I slid ranks again because obviously I'm ranked quite high, but back down to 1528. However, that is about to turn around. So I was always stronger in the following two buys. And the moving forward of the Richmond game has actually very much helped me because I will be able to field 18 that round. So I'm going to have a pretty huge advantage in that last round. I know people are looking at 12 to 14 players that they're going to be able to field. I'll be able to field all 18 as long as I don't get injuries between now and then. And that's even with Zorko being in my team. So, I'm looking pretty strong for that last buy. And this round, of course, it helped me again. So I'll be able to field about 20 to 21 players this week and drop out the lowest scores, and I'll be really competitive with quite a lot of premiums. So, looks like the next 2 weeks will be strong for me. So the first week was always going to be my lighter week, and now the buys overall, I should get a pretty good rank boost. I'm hoping to be around top 500 by the end of the buy. So we'll reevaluate that in 2 weeks and see where we've traveled to. Looking at what I'm doing this week, so pretty simple trades. Obviously, the ones that I must get in, CCJ and Bianco. Those are the only two trades I'm making, and how I'm doing that is RCD is going and Highmore is going. Those are my two trade outs. I'm holding Waterman, I'm holding Madden, and I'm holding Waitman. Obviously, because they can obviously play in the last buy round. Madden, I think, plays. So if you didn't know, Leicester actually did his hamstring again in the back end late in the last quarter against the Bulldogs. Now, after the game, the injury report came out and said that he did do another hamstring. It didn't look like it's as bad as the first one, but they're going to monitor him. So I don't know. With a hamstring, it's very, very, very unlikely that he just takes the 1 week off, comes back and plays. I think that it's likely 2 to 3. Even a light hamstring is usually 2 to 3. So I think that Madden will at least get that week, which I'm desperate for because that would be really, really good to be able to have that body on the field in round 14. So I'll be trading RCD. So I'm going to get rid of him. I've got to throw this like so and get CCJ. Now, the other contentious, it's not contentious. The other one that obviously is on the bubble, is a very, very good pick as well, is Reeves. I think that he's still going to be a good pick. I can bring him in. I just don't know if it's going to be a waste of a trade or not. There's a couple of really bad things about bringing in Reeves from my point of view from here. See, right now, Coleman-Jones actually allows me to have ruck cover and forward cover and can be essentially an almost season-keeping player at F7. Especially if he keeps playing the way he's playing. I mean, he's scoring like a gun. But the only way I can do that is if I hold Fulton. Now, I could go Fulton down to Reeves, and then I can have a permanent R3. It does look like he's got some decent job security in Reeves, but I only gained 40K for that trade. So I'm at this point of the week, I'm throwing up whether I do that. It's 40K to get Reeves to have cover, which I already have cover. I'm just not sure it really lends to being helpful to me. Now, obviously, it does give me a body in that buy round. So that is the consideration is, do I take Reeves as another body? Do I take him now so that I've got a body in 2 weeks for that bye. And that's the other consideration. I'm just wary that I'm just throwing a trade for virtually no money and virtually no points. Reeves might not even make my best 18 that week because I actually will that week I'll be running about 15 premiums. So, yeah, I haven't decided yet, but that's not necessarily a no either. Now, I was obviously trying to hold Highmore, and I think Highmore actually even plays this week. The problem is now he's break even, right? So I think he's got a break even of 59, is it? 58, right? So let's say he gets that 58. He might even get an 80. He's not even going to make much money. He probably goes up 5K next week, and then you've got to ditch him anyway. Or if you've got to hold him, you've got to go, you've got to wait 2 or 3 weeks to actually get decent money out of him. By then, you don't need him as a cash cow. So I'm of the opinion that Highmore's done. I don't think he's going to be able to benefit our teams anymore moving forward. He's just been a stressful pick for the entire season. I'm getting rid of him. So Highmore is done. I'll bring in Bianco. By the way, Bianco looks like a season keeper rookie. What I mean by that is he looks like he's good enough to hold in the team for the rest of the season, and you can keep him on your pine. And he's great because he covers those 2 lines. With my team, with Laird, and I've also got Sharp, that really, really assists me in being able to plug holes forward in a midfield or defence. So I'll have a ruck forward in Coleman Jones and cover my ruck line, my forward line, a midfielder that can cover the back and defence. I'd love to be able to keep Poulter because I also think that he would be very serviceable doing the exact same thing. But unfortunately, I'm going to need his cash. So I'm on the lookout for another mid forward that could potentially fill that role. We'll see how we go. Now, completing those trades leaves me with 447K, which is great for me. I've still got 2 premiums to bring in, obviously, and I've got to bring in Grundy. So I still have 10 trades left. Really, next week I'm going to be going 1 down and 2 up, and those 2 up is likely. Sorry, actually, it won't be 1 down and 2 up. It'll be 1 down, 1 down, and 2 across. Oh, so 1 down, 1 up, and 1 across. So next week I'll be looking at doing Zorko to Danger. I'll be doing Poulter to Neil, and then I'll also be doing some kind of rookie downgrade. And then the next week I'll bring back in Grundy. So I'll have with 6 trades left, full completed team. Now the reason why I'm going to go Zorko down, Zorko across to Danger, and I'm not going to do it this week. First of all, I need Danger to get named, and I want to wait till his cash drops a week. I was going to wait 2 weeks to bring in Danger. But look, so Danger's probably going to drop 50K. Week 1, he'll drop 35. At week 2, he drops 15. So you're only really going to gain 15K by waiting that extra second week. And with Zorko, the way that it's looking that will happen with him, obviously only just missing the week. But the problem is that week that he misses, it will be a 0 unless I have 18 already on field. So you're missing his entire score. So I think that, as almost a luxury sideways trade, going Zorko to Danger and then bringing Zorko back in the following week, I think that's actually a really good plan because it's going to be probably about 100 points on field for one trade. So, I was going to bring in Danger anyway. It just means that I'm going sideways and then back up to a different player the next week. So it's not 2 trades that I'm wasting, it's just the one. So that one trade will net me whatever Dangerfield scores in that week. And as long as cash isn't an issue, it should bode me really well. From there is some other moves I'm looking at making because, again, I'll still have 6 trades. And I potentially am looking at one of Doherty, Short, Ridley, or Houston to Whitfield, depending on a few things. First of all, is Whitfield fit? He was running laps today. Don't know about that. I'm not in love with all these guys. Doherty's moved up to a wing. It's really impacted his scoring. I think it was in the third quarter he was moved up behind the ball again because Newman was injured. So this week he probably has a good role and scores well, but then what happens next week? Short's been up and down all year. It's been a really frustrating pick, and Ridley has also been up and down all year. Houston's still injured. Maybe he comes back from the bye and he goes all right. So we'll see about that. And obviously the big ones that I don't have in midfield is Clary and Bont. So I'm also considering trading up someone like a Taranto after the bye to a Bont or a Clary, etc. So we'll have to have a look at my team a little bit further on and just see where I can do those moves. But my forward line will pretty much be the best 6 forwards. So outside of Impey, who I think will come good anyway. And that's it, guys. So that's me moving into round what is it? Round 13. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. Good luck with your buys, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.